Welcome back to my channel. Today's video, as you can tell by the title, is another foster care video, and it's what to expect whenever you get your first placement call. I actually filmed this video a couple weeks ago, but whenever I was editing it, I didn't really like the quality. The last video that I posted, I noticed that the quality was a little grainy and it just looked weird. The first time I recorded this video, it looked the same. So I was like, I don't really like that. I don't want to have two videos with inferior quality go out. I had already posted that one, and then I was like, I don't want another video to look like that. So I'm refilming this one again, which is fine, but that's what we're going to talk about today. Today, we're going to be going over what to expect when you get your first placement call. So I've been a little MIA over the last few weeks, and that's because I did get a placement, and I have another video following this that'll come next, which will talk about what happens when your placement leaves, because within the last few weeks, I've had a placement come and go. So I'm able to do a video on both of those subjects, but today we're gonna start off with the placement calls. So I live in Texas, and in Texas, you can't get licensed, or at least in my area. I'm not gonna speak for all of Texas. For in my area, you can't get licensed through CPS or DCFS directly anymore. You have to go through an agency. So I work with an agency for foster care. So what happens is you have a child come into care, CPS places a call to your agency, and then the agency will go through their list of people who fit that requirement, or who, like, whenever you do foster care, you have like different parameters of what you are willing to accept. So they'll go through that list, see which families fit that parameter, and then they'll call you. So you get the call, they'll tell you everything that they know about the child, and specifically like what's going on with the child, how the child came into care, anything about the parents if they know, anything about their medical condition if they know. Just as much information as they know, they'll give to you when they give you that call. So they tell you everything that they know, and then you say yes or no. So first off, I obviously said yes, which we'll get to in a second, but if you say no, it doesn't go against you. They don't strike you. It doesn't count negatively against you if you say no. If it's just not right for you, you just simply say no, and they move on to the next family that fits the requirements, or fits where that child fits into the requesting family's parameters, so to speak. And then the only time no kind of really goes against you, well, I won't even say it goes against you, is if you repeatedly say no. So say if they constantly call you with a placement and you keep saying no, then, antennas start to kind of go up, and they're kind of want to start to figure out, like, okay, we're calling you with these placements, but you continually say no, like, what's the reason? And then they dig into that for whatever reason. If you're not ready for a placement, or you want to take a break from placements, don't continue to say no. Just let them know, let your case manager or let your placement team know that, hey, I don't want to be open, or I want to take a break for a little while. You can either call them back or whenever you're ready, or you can tell them that you want to take a month off, and then they'll take you off the list for a month or 2 months, or however long you want to be inactive. But in this case, I said yes. So what happened, after I said yes, they call CPS back, say, hey, we have a family available. So I immediately said yes. They called CPS, told them that I was willing to take the child. And then what happens is the placement team calls me back, and they said, hey, they're going to place the child with you, or they decided on another family. They'll let you know either way, and that takes about 30 minutes to an hour, 2 hours for when they call you back and tell you yes or no. If they say no, then the placement team, or at least at the agency that I work with, if they say no, they'll call you back and they'll be like, hey, they said no, we'll just, put you on the list as open, and then, whenever something else comes up, we'll give you a call. If they say yes, and the CPS worker says, okay, we want to place them with, the family that y'all have, then they'll give your information over to CPS, and then CPS will call you directly, and they will give you information as far as like, so, hi, my name is so-and-so. I'm the case manager or the investigator for the child. I'm going to go pick them up at, the office or the hospital or wherever. And either you have to go meet them at the office, or you have to meet them at the hospital, or they'll bring the child to you, to your house. So they'll pick them up, or if they have them at the office already, they'll bring them to you. So they'll tell you, and you'll coordinate with them, pick up and stuff like that. Sometimes it's the same day that they call you. Sometimes it may be the next day. They'll give you all of that information. So that's typically how that goes. They brought the child to my house whenever I did this placement, and this is my first placement. So they brought the child to my house, and then whenever CPS comes to your house, they have their computer and their big folder and everything, and then you sit down with them and they go over all of this paperwork. So if you've ever bought a house and you know how you basically sign every little thing, or you sign 1,000 documents, it's the same thing with CPS. You sign a lot of paperwork. They go over it with you. It's just basically like a foster care agreement. You sign a paper that says that you have, you're in charge as far as like medical, and then everything that I signed, I got a copy of, and they gave it to me in a folder, and then they kind of like give you the child and they leave. And so after that, then you get with your agency and they'll prepare a visit. So then they'll come and essentially do a walkthrough. Same thing with the home study. They're checking for the same thing. So every time you get a visit and you get a home visit, they're always checking for the same thing. So how you prepare for your home study is usually how you prepare for a walkthrough or a visit. So they're not going to sit down with you and do like the whole interview, talking, getting to know you bit. They're not going to do that. But as far as like the walkthrough, they're going to look for the same thing. So your smoke detector, fire extinguisher, locks on the bottom cabinets, or cleaning supplies, making sure any alcohol is on the top shelf of the refrigerator, counter, or pantry, making sure that medication is locked up, vitamins locked up, things like that. They're always looking for the same thing, adequate space for the child, things like that. So they do a little bit of a walkthrough, and then whenever they sit down with you, instead of asking you all of the stuff as far as like, tell me a little bit about yourself, they'll ask you about the child. How is it going so far? Usually my visit was the next day, so I only got like a night with the child before all of the questions and stuff like that. So I didn't really have much to give her based on just like one night. So I told her it was going well so far, and they ask you kind of like the temperament of the child, and if you have any questions, and then they go over everything that's due. So in Texas, you have to get a 72-hour checkup, so they go over that with you. They give you resources to get that set up, and then you have a 30-day checkup, and then you have a 45-day dental. And then if they have any behavioral issues, then that one is, I think, 30 days. Don't quote me on the behavioral one. I didn't have to do that one. So I don't know what the day span is, but 72 hours, you have to get that scheduled and done. 30-day, which is like a checkup, mostly like whatever PCP you choose, that you can just take them there and do a 30-day. And then the dental, whoever takes, whatever insurance they have, typically it's going to be Medicaid. So whoever has takes Medicaid, you take them to the dentist or to the PCP and stuff like that. And so they go over all of that stuff. You have to do an inventory. So you have to do an intake inventory, which is everything that they came with, the clothes, if they came with any toys, or if they're old enough to have like gaming systems or things like that, cell phones or stuff like that. If they have that, you have to put that in the inventory. And you also have to do a discharge inventory, but we'll get into that in the next video whenever I talk about what it's like whenever they leave, which is sad. It's very sad, but we'll get into that in the next video. But yeah, so after that, they go over all of those things. I kind of went over with her everything that CPS gave me the day before, just so I can like clarify and make sure that I had everything, and just try to keep her as informed or my caseworker, just try to keep her as informed as I could. I'm very big on like communication. I'm very organized when it comes to that stuff. So I like for her to know everything that I know. And then as I talk with, CPS, I always keep her in the loop, because your case manager is a really, really, really good resource. They've been through this 1,000 times. So any question that you have that maybe the CPS investigator is too busy, because of course they have a lot of cases that they're managing and they just can't get back to you as quick as they would like or as quick as they choose. My case manager specifically for this placement was amazing. She was very responsive. Any question that I had, she was, on top of it. So communicate with your case manager, keep them in the loop on everything. Questions will come up, but if they don't know what's going on, they can't really answer whatever you need to get answered. So make sure you keep them in the loop on everything. And then, just kind of ask them, because I had some stuff that went on, and then I was like, hey, is this normal? Is this typical? What are they doing? What are they looking for? Stuff like that. So it was really helpful. Just stuff that you don't always want to ask CPS. You kind of want to come to your case manager and like talk a little bit more like confidentially and privately. Or that's how I felt with my case manager. I felt really comfortable asking her like things like I didn't know, and so I wasn't nervous or anything like that to ask her stuff. So I always reserved my question. I was very communicative with my case manager, and if your case manager is like that, I take advantage of it. I've had a good experience so far. I've only had one placement, so I don't know if I'll have a different case manager the next time, but this one that I have now, she was amazing. So if you have one that you get a sense where you can like really talk to them and ask them anything, take full advantage of it, ask all the questions, because at the end of the day, you're taking care of this child. It is your responsibility, like your own. So you want to be as informed and you want to be as on top of it as you can, because you also want to present yourself as a really good foster. Because to me presenting myself as a really good foster care or foster home, I want them to be like, oh, like this placement is going to her house. Oh, they're going to be really safe. They're going to be taken care of. We don't have to worry about anything. And build that trust with your agency. I feel like that's very important, because I feel like they'll be more comfortable to place with you. And I feel like once you build that rapport as a good foster placement, whenever that placement comes along, I kind of want to be the one that pops into their mind. Like, oh, she does really good with placements. Like, I want to be that first home or one of the top homes that pops into the placement team's mind or the case manager's mind whenever they're looking for placements, because I really want to help. Though I want to adopt, if I'm helping in the meantime, then I'm great with that. Another thing, well, I'll save my next point for the next video. So that's all I have for this video. Overall, my experience with my first placement has been very good. I'm super sad that they didn't get to stay long, but I'm happy that they they were able to find family for the baby to go to. And I'm hoping that they're safe and in a good environment, because I know what type of environment I provide. So I'm hoping that they are placed into an environment that I would provide, which I know is safe and stable and consistent, and they have everything that they need. Maybe not everything that they want, but they have everything that they need and are taken care of and are fed, roof over their head, and have no worries when they're with me. So if you have any questions, or if I skipped something that you want to add, leave it in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.